Hello and welcome back to Nerd News Today. I'm Matthew, and on today's episode we're taking a look at this statue from Diamond Select. This is Wolverine. And this is not just any statue of Wolverine, this is Wolverine in the signature yellow outfit. This is a resin bust, or mini bust, I guess we'll see, because it's kind of on the smaller side, but that's not a bad thing here, but it is packed with details. This statue has an extremely limited run of only 500 pieces. This is, I think, probably one of the least produced Diamond Select pieces we've actually looked at here on this channel, so I'm very curious to see what's going to make it so special and why they're making this so extremely exclusive. But I want to cut you guys to the back real quick to show you some of the details here. In particular, we have a great big bio alongside this image of Wolverine, alongside this image of the statue. And you can see right there, by the way, the little label that mentions that this is a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive from 2024. So we're a little bit late on this one, but still excited to have it because I'm always a big Wolverine fan. So I want to go ahead right now and direct your attention to that bio we were just talking about right there. And this is a pretty long, very detailed bio. I'm actually really impressed by this. You never know what you're going to get with some of these Diamond pieces when it comes to the packaging as far as bios go, but this they really went all in. They're telling you a whole lot of information about Wolverine, although chances are you already know the most that you need to know about this character because he is the best at what he does, and what he does isn't pretty, bub. And aside from mentioning once again that this is a limited edition piece of only 500 statues, we also get to know who is credited for making this piece here, and this was designed by Nelson X. Asensio and sculpted by Juan Pitluck. We've seen both of these guys work quite a bit on this channel here, and they always impress us. So I think without further ado and any excess pomp and circumstance, let's go ahead and get this Wolverine out of the packaging and take a closer look at him from all angles. And here is our Wolverine resin bust now out of the packaging. And I gotta tell you guys, wow, this is really impressive. Just even my initial glance of seeing him right out of the box, I am kind of really blown away by this one. It's honestly actually a lot better in person than it looked in the packaging. So let's go ahead and start diving into some of those details. And we'll start that by doing a quick rotation just so you can see all the many angles here. So this was a little bit unexpected in some ways as far as the color choices on this Wolverine, and I'm actually really liking it, as well as some other little details we're going to go into that make a huge difference on this statue. But just initial reaction and just a quick quality control check while we're doing this too. There are no claws that are broken. There are really very minimal, if any, paint slop on this piece here. So we're looking solid on that front. Very, very much like the sculpting here and the way that they've kind of made this Wolverine with a certain look, which we're going to go into in a second here. So overall, I'm already very, very happy about what I'm seeing with this piece. And yeah, this is going to be a fun one to dive into here. So as we finish this rotation, I think I'm going to start this review by spending a little bit more time talking about this Wolverine face. And this is a really cool Wolverine head. And I say that because it's kind of like, I guess what I think of when I think about Wolverine in the yellow suit. You know, there's no like joviality here or jolliness to this Wolverine, because sometimes there is a little bit of a sense of humor in Wolverine, and sometimes artists who make these statues tend to go for a more like feral look quite often. This just feels to me like we're in the middle of battle Wolverine. And that's what excites me about this piece, because we have just this face that just says anger, but also like he knows what he's doing, he knows what's going on. And he's definitely ripping apart a Sentinel or some AIM goons, or maybe it's the Hellfire Club. I don't know, but he's definitely going to town on somebody. He's enjoying what he's doing, but he's very focused on what that job is. And as we already said, that job is never really very pretty when it comes to Wolverine. I also like the shape and the slope of, you know, I never know what to call these little bits on Wolverine's mask here. So let's just say part of his mask, his little ears maybe, I don't know, but I like the shape of this. You know, this is again one of those things that a lot of sculpture makers will kind of, you know, add their own personality to, and sometimes they can get really long and absurdly pointy. Other times they're much smaller than this, but this right here feels like a really good height, and it also kind of mimics the height and also the curve of Wolverine's claws, which we're going to talk about momentarily. So you can see it from the other side as well. So it's not a very gentle curve, that's for sure. It is a pretty aggressive, assertive curve here, but it's not cartoonish. And this is a very solid black color here, so not really much blue. We'll get into more of the different shades on this Wolverine, but for the most part, it is actually a very, very dark looking piece other than the very bright yellow on him. One thing I also like about this piece too is the paint job in the face here, which looks, again, really good. And I appreciate the shape of the mouth as well, the way the teeth have been painted in here, because sometimes you get them, they look like they're like putting a Sharpie marker between each tooth and it's just too apparent. In this case here, it is a little bit more subtle, but there is enough definition to make those teeth pop out and you can actually see them, but not in a way that's just like, ew, there's too many teeth and that looks really hideous. No, to me, this actually looks pretty solid. And there is a bit of, I think, a 5 o'clock shadow on this Wolverine too, which is a nice little touch there. Sometimes people will draw lines or whatever, they'll paint in a little bit more refined detail, but in the case of this one, it's just a little subtle 5 o'clock shadow, which I think adds, again, a good deal of personality to this Wolverine. Now, I think I really can't go much further in this video without starting to talk about these tremendous looking claws here, because, I mean, this is just the coolest thing. So that was actually the thing I was worried about when I saw this statue, was like, what's going to happen to these claws? Because they look like they're shaped in a very, very pronounced way. So I will, by the way, allay any fears to you right now. As far as the way the packaging is, they are packed that the blades here are actually pretty well protected in a way. There's no like spacers or anything. It's basically just in a way where like nothing can really squish onto them. So they feel pretty safe in there. And these are very, very thin little pieces here. So, you know, again, beware if this is a statue that like would fall over in your collection, you'd probably lose a blade. But as far as they look right now, and as far as out of the box, I feel pretty safe and secure putting them back in the package and not worrying about them breaking anytime soon. They look really great. I also really like the curvature of both of them, you know, because sometimes, again, we look at Wolverine pieces, and we've looked at a lot of them on this channel. That's why I'm saying that a lot of times again and again, but we have looked at a lot of Wolverine statues. And the claws can be all sorts of things. They can be straight up, they can be really, really big, whatever. These are a really great shape, I think a really fun length also, and they just look really sharp, really killer. I always liked it, especially in the comics and the cartoons, when you saw like Wolverine's claws almost look like a samurai katana, where they'd have that bit of a curve to them, and you're definitely getting that feeling here. So these are really, really nice blades, and I also like the real nice metallic sheen on both of them here too. Yeah, these are solid all around here. Now, let's keep going down this piece here. We'll talk a little bit more about some of the details in the body. We have a great looking sculpt here, because of course it's Wolverine. He is jacked. No, not Hugh Jackman, that's a different guy, but this Wolverine in particular is very jacked looking. You've got his six-pack of abs, you got the pecs, whatever. I'll show you guys his back muscles as well. But what really matters with Wolverine is his giant arms, because he's always had like massive arms, really, for the most part, no matter who drew him. I mean, his arms got bigger and bigger over time, of course, but these look like Wolverine arms to me. They are short, they're stubby, and they're very, very thick. He is a muscle man here. One thing that's not really on this guy, though, besides some nice vascular vein painting here and a lot of really great definition on those biceps and triceps and delts, we don't really have any fur on Wolverine. So if that's something that you're looking for in a Wolverine statue, you know, you're not going to get it here. Sometimes they will paint in hair, and you can almost see it on the arm, in fact. Like, it looks like there might have meant to have been some hair detail painted in here, but it's not. So yeah, this is going to be a Wolverine that, I guess, shaved before he went out into battle. And by the way, I just poked my finger on this as I was turning him, and oh my god, these are actually really sharp. So watch out for those claws for real. Let's talk about the color of the piece now. And like I already said here, you've got this really bright yellow that is really making this whole statue pop. There's a little bit of weathering as well, a little bit of shading you can see to help define the muscles. But other than that, it's actually a very subdued and dark piece. Now, a lot of times when we get the Wolverine statues in the yellow costume, you know, we do have the black stuff across his shoulders, the black stripes. We have the black stripes that go across his sides there. But typically, we'll see like the gloves and the shoulder pads be that kind of bright blue, that early 90s bright blue. But in the case of this statue here, they are much, much darker. And I like this. I actually do like this. Don't get me wrong, I do like my very, very bright Wolverine too. But I appreciate the fact that this one a little bit darker and a little bit more subtle. And the gloves share the same color as the shoulder pads. It does have a nice metallic sheen to it, so don't get us wrong here. It still has that great looking metallic sheen that I think we tend to get with most Wolverine toys and statues. But as far as this statue goes, yeah, the dark part here is just very nice. And again, just adds a lot to how your eye is drawn into the piece. And likewise, as we start to kind of move down a little bit here, we'll talk about the belt and the base. That belt is also, you know, it's a red belt with this sort of yellow on it. The yellow is a dimmer shade than what is currently on the body and the head and the mask and whatever. But even this belt here, you know, you guys can see that it is red, but it's not like a bright popping out red. It's a much more kind of scaled back tone for the red. So it's not aggressively in your face and cartoonish. And likewise too, you can see this is where the, you know, his little underpants, tights would be, whatever. They're, again, similar shade, not a shiny shade of blue like you're getting with the gloves and with the shoulder pads, but it is essentially the same color, just minus the shine. Now, as for the base, that's a pretty interesting looking base here too. So I wasn't sure what to expect, because we have looked at Marvel pieces in the past, and they've had, you know, varying types of bases. This one here, it's very much like adamantium feeling. It's a little bit mechanical. We do have a few organic elements, though, with like these sort of curves here that are meant to be like Wolverine's maybe fangs or his claws. But that kind of helps to also add more verticality to the piece, because they kind of bring you back up into this thing here. All these lines, they really do. They help kind of like lead your eye back up into the statue. But it's kind of interesting because it is like a combination of organic shapes and mechanical shapes here, especially the curves here. So really cool juxtaposition of different ideas that really kind of make up who Wolverine is. And it's a very nicely designed base. Good painting here. For the most part, it's just that really shiny silver with a little bit of black weathering inside there. And in case you're wondering, the bottom of the base has our number for this Wolverine. You can see, because again, this is a limited edition. He is number 222 out of the 500. The bottom of Wolverine's box also includes that information, as does the certificate of authenticity, which comes with him. So you've got 3 different ways to identify what number your Wolverine is. So the question now is, should you add this Wolverine to your collection? Well, this guy here is going to hit you at around maybe 75 to 90 bucks as far as price goes from most places you can get it from, and it is still available in a few places. Again, there's not a lot of number of this guy, but he is still out there. And I think that's a really excellent price, honestly, for a piece like this. Now, again, keep in mind, this is on the smaller side. I think he's about 5 inches, I want to say. Like, he's not very big, but you're getting a lot of great detail. You're getting a really nice way that the claws are done, by the way. I think that, to me, is like one of the biggest selling points. It's just how good the claws look and feel, and the essence of Wolverine that you get with that style of figure here, with the style of statue. So I think at that price point, you can't go wrong. And also keep in mind, it is a resin piece, and it's limited to so few of them. So I feel like at 75 to 90 bucks, definitely go for this one if you're a Wolverine fan. It's a nice, small, compact statue, too. I would probably recommend putting this thing in a shelf with like a glass case behind it, just to help add a little bit of extra protection. Or maybe put some like sticky stuff on the bottom of the base, just again help keep him steady, because if he falls, I do fear that those claws are going to be, well, breaking off. So just watch out for that. That's really my only point of warning, is those really sharp and very awesome claws. But otherwise, definitely giving this Wolverine statue a recommend. And if you want to pick this one up for yourself, go ahead and check out my affiliate links in the description of this video below. We're going to have spots to a few different places you can go to pick this statue up. And if you click on any of those links, it helps support this YouTube channel at no extra cost to you. So until next time, I'm Matthew. This has been Nerd News Today. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time at more statue reviews, figure reviews, and everything else we do here on the channel.